Are you a tree or a plant lover? If you like food, if you love food, you'll love this. Hi, I'm Jim Conroy, and I'm the Tree Whisperer, and I'm here today with Cabbages. And so I'll tell you a little story about these cabbages. What happened with the cabbages is the area between the roots and the leaves, there's like a little stem area in there, got all blocked up and or wasn't formed right. When I'm talking about wasn't formed right, it's only like formed at 50% or only operating at 50%. So then the leaves weren't forming right and the heads weren't forming right because the water and nutrients couldn't get from the roots through this zone, this transition zone, up into the leaves. So what I had to do is work with the consciousness of the roots and work with the consciousness of this neck area, this transition zone, so that the xylem and phloem will begin to form properly. But I also had to work with the circulation to reboot once I got the parts connected, the roots, the xylem and phloem in that neck area, and the leaves, once I got them all connected up again, then I had to reboot the circulation again, because the circulation wasn't running right, so now we got to reboot all the circulation again. So I did that. So what's going on now is the plants will go on and begin to make nice new leaves and make nice new heads and form nice new heads. So once I finish connecting them and getting them operated, then we're talking about back into the 90% category with operation, and gradually we'll have more formation and we'll get this nice flow. That's going to begin right away, and then the nice circulation, increased circulation right away, so that again the leaves will form and the heads will form, and we'll get nice heads out of this. And the nicest part to me was that it was a little like convincing the roots to get going again, because they're saying, look, I'm no use me going again if that transition zone is all blocked up. And I worked with that to unblock that transition zone, worked with that transition zone to put on new xylem and phloem tissues and everything. But it's kind of like then getting them to connect all back up again. It's like they don't want to just instantly do this, you know? So I kind of had to work with them a little bit, but in the end, yeah, they said, oh yeah, we'll work together. And then the leaves, they joined in, and as I said, now we're getting new leaves formed, and the functions and parts were not working. They were somewhere when I started out, they were somewhere in the 50% category. Now we're operating at about 90% category. Okay, I had to work with community. I had to do a few things. I had to work, I said I had to help them make more food, have them reboot the circulation. More food helps you break down that food, you drive the circulation to reboot the circulation up between the parts and the functions, so you get everything going, and then you can get the functions. In other words, making more food to help grow, restore the parts that are there, and help grow new parts. That was the key to the whole thing.
And what's the next thing that we hope that they'll do? What can we expect?
We hope that they'll start to form nice new heads, that they'll grow more leaves and form new heads. That's really what we want. That's what we want, and that's what they want to do. It's not just us. They want to grow new heads. So I treated these cabbages about 3 days ago. And at the time I treated them, their roots, xylem and phloem, and bud leaves were only in the 50% category concerning formation and operation. In these past 3 days, it has totally improved. They are now, the roots, xylem, and phloem and bud leaves are now in the 90% formation and operation category. So that's real good progress. But it also is the opportunity for them to begin to make more food for themselves. I help them to work with the photosynthesis, to increase photosynthesis, to make more food faster. Also work with them to increase the circulation. That makes more food available faster inside of the plant. Also work with them to connect up the community, not only of the cabbage crop, but all of the various crops, all of the various fall crops in this field, as well as the trees and plants and the mountains. Okay, they're all one, all working together as one. The trees, the plants, the crops, the mountain, and the land to all come together as one. And as one, we build this, what we call biobalia, where a whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And now they're all connected, all working together. You have a new whole greater than the sum of its parts. And guess what? Now they can begin to share food. So that helps even make more food available, which will help them make more growth. And where's that showing up? Well, it's showing up in the functions to parts category. Okay, so functions, the functions such as photosynthesis, uptake, circulation, photosynthesis, food and fluid distribution, all of those have to help the plants make more parts. All those functions have to help the plants both restore the parts that are here, because the plants were actually stuck and not growing, but also help those parts grow, actually help those parts grow new parts so that they grow. And that's exactly what's happening. They're going to grow. They're already starting to grow more in these past 3 days. And I suspect in the next week or so, we'll even see greater improvement. And this is very exciting, because now the plants have an opportunity to do what their goals are. And their goals are to make nice big heads of cabbage. That's what they want to make for themselves. That's their goals, be healthy plants and make nice big heads of cabbage. So time is of the essence, because this is early November right now. We've had some beautiful weather here in the Northeast, so the cabbages can still begin to grow. But as you know, as it gets into November, things can change rapidly, and then the temperature goes down and you won't get very much growth. It's a collaborative effort between myself and the cabbages to actually move along and reach their goals, which is to produce the nice big cabbage heads. And I've been working on this field of cabbages for about a week now, so it hasn't been very long. But one of the things that's happening now is that I'm feeling the up and down movement inside of the cabbages. It's not only the movement, the fluids moving up into the cabbages and food moving around the cabbages, but I'm talking about the dimensional movement. So you're moving from parts way up in the dimensional scale to functions, back to parts, to functions, back to parts, to functions. And then in that they grow. And they're doing a good job of growing. In a week, they're much bigger. The heads are much fuller. I'm the tree whisperer. I heal sick and declining trees by repairing the internal functionality of trees.
I'm Basia Alexander, intuitive interspecies communicator, nature communicator.